Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're actually stepping inside Miss Adrika's animated grammar classroom. We're going to master something super crucial, reported speech. Whether you're a student trying to ace a test or just someone wanting to communicate better, knowing how to accurately relay what someone else said is pretty foundational. It's really all about taking those direct quotes and smoothly blending them right into your own sentences. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's transform how we talk about what people say.
Okay, look at this group. These are Miss Adrika's vibrant grade 8 English students. And the cool thing about this explainer is we are definitely not going to use dry, boring textbook examples. Nope, we're using real, actual classroom quotes from these brilliant kids. Nipsung, Janisa, Ashika, Nasang, Harsit, Sujan, the whole crew. Because honestly, the absolute best way to learn grammar is to see it in action, right in the middle of everyday conversations.
So here's our whiteboard plan for today. We're going to define what reported speech actually is, then we'll change tenses and verbs, shift our pronouns and people, look at connectives and reporting verbs, adjust time and place adverbs, and finally wrap it all up with some interactive practice time.
Module 1. What is reported speech? Before we go shifting verbs around, we really need to establish a golden rule here. Reported speech, some people call it indirect speech, literally just means telling someone what another person said, but without using their exact words. You're basically acting as a grammatical messenger for your friends. You're not a tape recorder, right? You're grabbing the core meaning of what they told you and weaving it organically into your own story. Check this out. For direct speech, we have Nipsung said, "I am happy." See the quotation marks? Those are his exact words. But in reported speech, all that clunky punctuation just disappears. We have the little word that, and I am smoothly becomes he was. So Nipsung said that he was happy. We got his exact feelings across totally perfectly without quoting him word for word. Module 2. Changing tenses and verbs.
Now, I want you to think of this as your ultimate tense cheat sheet. The rule is actually super simple. When your reporting verb, like said or told, is in the past tense, the stuff inside the quote usually takes one step backward in time. Simple present steps back to simple past. Present continuous, past continuous. Present perfect jumps back to past perfect. Once you see the pattern, it's just incredibly logical.
Let's put that cheat sheet to work with Ashika. Her direct quote is in the simple present tense. I play football every day. Now, when we report that, watch how the simple present verb play just steps right back into the simple past, played. Ashika said that she played football every day, just one step back in time. Easy, right? But wait, what about modal verbs? Well, they step back in time too. Here's Benjamin making a pretty confident boast. He says, I can solve this problem. When we report it, that present modal can beautifully transforms into its past form, could. So Benjamin said that he could solve this problem. And just as a quick heads up, Will would do the exact same thing and change to would. Module 3. Shifting pronouns and people. Here's the thing. When you report someone's speech, you absolutely have to adjust the perspective. Think about it. If your friend said I or we, you can't go around saying I or we when you report it, because you didn't say it, they did. So I has to switch to he or she, we naturally becomes they, and so on. It's all about shifting to that third person point of view. Watch how perfectly this works with Pradika. She directly tells us, I like music. Well, if I'm telling you about Pradika's tastes, I definitely don't say I liked music. I have to shift that pronoun. Her personal I seamlessly turns into she. Pradika said that she liked music. Module 4. Connectives and reporting verbs. Okay, so the flavor of the original sentence totally dictates how we build our reported one. For a basic statement, we stick with said or told and use that as our bridge. But what if it's a question? For a yes-no question, the reporting verb changes to asked, and we connect it with if or whether. For commands, the verb gets a lot stronger, something like ordered. The whole structure literally adapts to whatever the speaker's intention was. Here is a fantastic example from Janisa using a WH question. Directly, she says, where do you live? When we report it, look at the cleanup that happens. Commas, gone. Inverted commas, gone. Said turns into asked because, well, it's a question. And we actually use the W word where itself as our seamless little bridge. Janisa asked where I lived. Now, what's really fascinating here is how the tone changes everything. The teacher says to Sujan, complete your work. That's not just a casual statement, right? That is a very clear command. So when reporting it, we drop the generic word said for a much more accurate, powerful verb. We use ordered.
The teacher ordered Sujat to complete his work. And notice we use the word to connect it all together.
Module 5. Time and place adverbs.
You might be wondering, why do we even need to change these? Well, think about it. Reported speech happens later, right? And usually in a totally different place. If someone says today on a Tuesday, and you're telling the story on a Thursday, today makes no sense anymore. It has to become that day. Now becomes then. Tomorrow turns into the next day, and here shifts to there.
Let's look at Deep's promise to see this double shift in action. Deep says, I will come tomorrow. When we report this, we have to apply 2 rules at once. First up, our modal verb will steps back to would. Second, that time word tomorrow has to shift to the next day. Bring it all together, and we get, Deep said that he would come the next day.
Module 6, Interactive Practice Time.
All right, let's do a super quick review of our 6-step master plan. Seriously, lock this in before we do our little quiz. 1, remove the punctuation. 2, add your connective. 3, shift that tense back. 4, swap the pronouns. 5, adjust time and place words. And 6, pick the right reporting verb. If you follow this checklist, I promise you're going to nail it every single time. Okay, practice question number 1. Look closely at Nipsung's direct statement. Nipsung said, I can swim. I want you to actively apply those 6 steps right now. Think about the punctuation. What's your connective going to be? What pronoun do we use for Nipsung? And hey, what happens to that word can? Do you have the answer in your head? Drumroll, please. Here is the reveal. Nipsung said that he could swim. Look at that. We dropped the quotation marks, we brought in our connective that, we successfully shifted I to he, and we did that modal shift, stepping can backward to could. If you got that, fantastic job. And wow, that brings us to the final challenge of our explainer. Check out Aryan's quote. Aryan said, I will visit Kathmandu tomorrow. Ooh yeah, this one is a triple threat. It needs a tense shift, a pronoun shift, and a time adverb shift. So, how does this transform into reported speech? Well, I'm actually going to leave you to solve this provocative little grammar puzzle entirely on your own. Cement these rules in your mind, run through those 6 steps, and keep on practicing. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in Miss Adrika's classroom today, and hey, happy learning.